and we're going to talk a couple of different sports. We're going to talk, um, let's talk MLS first, because I'm excited about how DC United did. But Champ, I know that you've been doing lots of different sports and things on your Twitch channel. And I'm going to do the Champ command here for anyone that doesn't follow DC's People's Champ. But let people know what you're doing on your TikTok and all you're doing some pretty cool golf stuff.
Absolutely. So I got introduced to EA Sports PGA Tour a few weeks ago, and I've been just grinding out the career mode to the point that now my golfer is like a really, really good golfer. And so anytime I hit like a really, really good shot, I do a screen recording of it, and then I edit it down and I put it on TikTok. And recently I've been doing like TikToks where I hit where in one round I hit my best three shots, and then I'll just put it into one little TikTok and put it on there and stuff like that. But I've also been playing the recent Madden, and I've also been playing MLB the show 2024, and I'm actually looking at doing something with Madden on our YouTube channel sometime this week if I
Champ,
can
real
find the
quick,
time to edit
can,
it.
can you boost your audio a little bit? You're either a little bit far from the mic or, I mean, you're just coming in a little low.
Check chat, check
Yep.
chat.
That's much better.
Hang on, let me see if I can turn it up just a little bit here. How's that?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay. Yeah. So what I was saying is, I'm actually working on a little project for YouTube when it comes to Madden, and so hopefully I can get that done this week. I want to edit it down. I got a lot of clips of some plays I did on Madden for a game because a lot of people when they play Madden, they play like really short, like maybe 5 6 minute quarters and stuff like that. So I decided for a couple of games to play a full on 60-minute game, and one of those games like I absolutely like went crazy, and so I decided to make clips of that. So I'm working on putting all those together, and I'm gonna post it on YouTube because I don't think it'll be uh short enough for TikTok, but I think it'll be perfect for YouTube. So I'm working on that, and I'm still working on doing more shots and stuff for TikTok and stuff like that. So got a lot going on.
Yeah, sounds good. So I'm just testing my levels because I'm adjusting my mic a little bit so I more in line with yours and don't like blow people out. Um, anyway, so but great. I do want to talk DC United soccer. I'm very excited. For people who follow our hockey coverage, they'll know this term well. We got a hat trick and a win. So let people know what happened in this game.
Christian Benteke. That's all you need to know is Christian Benteke with the hat trick, his second hat trick of the season. Scored all three of DC United's goals in the 1944th and 55th minute. Two of the three goals, well, all three of the goals he scored were headers, and so he was able to find angles to get headers. One of those headers, the third goal that he scored on a header, actually hit off the bar and went into the net to give him his third goal and put DC United in the lead for good. This was a really good win for DC United. Both teams had 15 shots, but only DC United had more shots on target than Atlanta United at six to Atlanta's three. Atlanta did hold more had did hold possession of the ball longer than DC United at 64%. But when it all comes down to it, it's all down to the score. And again, Christian Benteke was the guy in this one. Again, second hat trick of the season. He scored his first hat trick in the season opener, and comes back around and does it again on the road in Atlanta to be able to give this team a victory. And this was a really big victory for them, coming off of what was a tie against Philly last week. They were able to come back and get a victory. So a big win for DC United, a big confidence boost. And again, now a lot of teams are going to be keying in on Benteke going forward because of how good of a goal scorer he is and how he can get into positions to score goals and things of that nature, which is going to open up for a lot of other players on the pitch to be able to make plays and things like that. So this could be something that could really benefit DC United moving forward in the season if a lot of teams are going to key in and defend Benteke and leave it open for others who can most likely score goals and score goals at a good pace as well. So again, this was a good litmus test for them to see how they can bounce back from being up 2-0 against Philly and end up tying that game to coming back and getting a victory after being down being down 1-0 and then going back and forth before finally winning it.
Yeah, I just want to give people a sense, he scored 11 goals on the season. It's already his second hat trick. And I think he had a hat trick in the season opener, I want to say. And yeah, just there's three people tied right now with the league lead in 11 goals. And Messi, a decent player, right, has 10 goals, right? So he's got one more goal than him right now. Although
Yeah, he's all
Miami
right. He's all right. He's all
He's all
right.
right. But Miami has two players that have 10 goals or more. One has 10, one has 11. This is wild. 21 goals between the two of them. And Messi does have 12 assists. I was just looking at his stats, just like, oof. So, I mean, and I know he was going to dominate the, Major League Soccer, but yeah, so watch out for him. And, but yeah, so Benteke has been playing great for us, and it's a big time win. It gets us a little bit higher in the standings. I was trying to pull them up here over here it is, the MLS. They call it the table in
Table.
soccer. And yeah, it moves us up into seventh place with 17 points. Now Columbus Crew has 15, Philadelphia has 14, Atlanta United has 12, Orlando City has 12, Montreal also has 12, Nashville has 11, just to give you an idea of the teams right around us. And we're tied with Charlotte and NYC, who all have 17, but they have better, what is it goal differential? No, we all have the same goal differential. We're all now at 0 with goal differential. But I think it's goals against us, maybe the next stat. I'm not sure. Um, and so yeah, it's or maybe it's head to head. Maybe it's games that we've won and lost. But anyway, but we're right there between 5, 6, and 7. All have 17 points. 4 is Toronto. They have 19. The Red Bulls are in third place with 20. FC Cincinnati is in second place with 24. And that really good Miami team I was talking about earlier has 27 points, 8 wins, 3 ties, and 2 losses on 13 games played. So they have played an additional game, but still just dominating it out there. So, but it's exciting to see. DC United playing well again.
Absolutely. It's really good to see. And hopefully they'll be able to keep it going because last season they even though they didn't play as well as they should have, they were really right there to make the playoffs. They fell apart towards the end. So hopefully this year it's not a nail biter to make the playoffs. They can continue to play. I mean, if Benteke continues to play the way that he has this early part of the season, I think this team is going to be a contender in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, for sure. I do want to mention their next game is Wednesday, so it's coming up pretty quickly here against the New York Red Bulls. That game is actually a Wednesday 7:30 game at Audi Field. It's a really important one. So I hope that the supporters come out and show up big for that one. Um, I was curious, do I have a graphic for the next thing I want to talk about? I might. WNBA. I think I do. Let's see. Let me see if that works. It does. Nice. We haven't talked about the Mystics in a little while. Mystics unfortunately lost their 2 preseason games, but their first regular season game is against New York. It's on May the 14th, so it's tomorrow. It's a 7 o'clock game. And on Friday they play at Connecticut. It's a 7:30 game. And then on Sunday, May 19th, they play Seattle, another game in Washington, and that's a 3 o'clock game. So there'll be 3 games here before our next podcast, and we will be covering the Mystics in this last segment, in the upcoming weeks as well. It's unfortunate that they barely lost to at Atlanta in the first game, 87-84. And then the other game against Minnesota was still close. They lost that one 83-77. But it'll be interesting to see. There's a lot more eyeballs on the WNBA this year than I think maybe have ever been. So it'll be interesting to see. I know the game against Caitlin Clark was moved to the big arena, Capital One Arena, and it'll be interesting to see if,
Rightfully so.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see if more games get moved back there, or what they end up doing with that.
I'm sure that the game with Caitlin in Indiana will definitely be, if not a sellout, close to a sellout, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of people that are going to want to come and see Caitlin Clark play in person after the career she's had in college. So that's one of the reasons why it was a smart decision for them to move it from the entertainment and sports arena in Southeast to Cap One Arena downtown. Because I'm pretty sure if they try to keep it in the entertainment sports arena, I've been to that arena twice for New Japan shows, and it's not a very big venue. And I'm pretty sure with the demand that Caitlin Clark will bring about with her presence, you're going to need a lot more than like
Oh
five or
yeah, they
six
sold it
thousand
out in
seats.
moments. That's why they had to move it because like it was, they were like, this is. Then we need to move to a venue with a bit more tickets.
Yeah,
So that's really exciting. I just want to keep it here for 1 second. Dallas is up 51-41 over OKC. There's 35 seconds left in this second quarter. And so I just kind of wanted to take a look at how this would end up. And they make a big time bucket there from OKC to cut it to 43-51. Gilgeous Alexander is amazing. Shy is impressive. He makes it look so easy. And so Dallas has the ball, 14 seconds left, six on the shot clock. They kick it out to the 3 point line. They step back. Luca for three. Wow, that's a deep three for Luca. And he's saying he got fouled. And I think he did. 54 to 43. They try to get the bucket up. Oh, is it up and in? No, I think that they're going to call it off. They might have to review this. Some really good defense. Two shot attempts right at the end there for OKC. The first one may have been touched a little bit. The ball came out. Ooh, that should have been a foul call. It wasn't. They said that he deflected it, and they tried to get it up and in, but by that point the buzzer had expired. So some good defense there. Wasn't called there by Dallas, and Dallas finds themselves up 54-43 here at halftime. But yeah, I'm excited for the Mystics to see how they do this year, and I'm excited that women's basketball is kind of in the spotlight again.
absolutely. I mean, it needs to be, especially after the controversies that came out after the draft of the contract that the number one overall pick got. I mean, I think that Caitlin Clark's presence in the WNBA and the demand that's going to bring should bring about a change to how these wonderful and talented young ladies are being compensated for playing the game that they love. And so if it does bring about change, that would be absolutely amazing. If it doesn't, then something needs to be done. Someone needs to say something. And when I say someone needs to say something, I mean someone influential needs to say something to invoke this kind of change and get these ladies paid properly, because they should not have to stay here domestically and play this game to get paid pennies compared to their male counterparts, to the point that then they have to go overseas to continue to play just so they can make a living and still be able to live and survive out here, because that's not right. They shouldn't have to play a season here in the states and then have to go overseas and then be done overseas and then come back here and have little time to rest and then get back into this season here on this side of the pond and things like that. It's just not fair to them. They should be able to be compensated quite handsomely for their services as basketball players, as good as much as their male counterparts, so that they don't have to go overseas. They can have a full off season of rest, of relaxation, healing, and things of that nature to be ready to be at full strength for the regular season here.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let me switch gears a little bit once again. We're gonna switch to the Nationals, who had a interesting week. Let's break it down. Their game today was postponed due to rain against the White Sox. We've got no game to recap from today. They did play a two-game series against Baltimore. This one was in Washington. The Nats won the first one 3-0 and lost the second one to Baltimore 6-7. And then they went to Boston. The Nats won that first game 5-1, but then lost 4-2 and 3-2 in some close games at Boston and Fenway. And then they're playing the Red Sox. The game did get postponed, but then there's, I believe, two games tomorrow now because of that. So there's a 4:40 at Chicago, and then there's an 8:10 at Chicago, and then on Wednesday there's a 2:10 game. And then Philadelphia will be our weekend series. We're playing in Philly. It's 6:40 on Friday, 6:05 on Saturday, 1:35 afternoon matinee game on Sunday. And then next week they will be playing Minnesota in Washington. It'll be a 6:45 start time. So we'll recap how that game goes as well. And then on the other side, let me just change the graphics real quickly. Uh,
It's funny, like you mentioned the Nationals and on MLB the Show. I actually my pitcher, because I created myself as a pitcher. I actually got drafted by the Nationals. I'm currently the number one starter on the Nationals. In my third season, so it's really fun. Though I kind of had to rage quit off of it today because I was struggling with my control, and my defense wasn't helping me, and I wasn't getting run support. So I was like, well, this is typical Nationals baseball. So why am I not surprised?
right. Are um are you going to stream any of that game, or is that one's more of your offline one, and you're just going to stream golf and stuff?
I still have not figured out what I'm going to do when it comes to that. It may be in the repertoire. I know Madden is going to most likely be there, and PJ will definitely be there since I've already streamed it
I
once.
kind of
So,
want you to do a custom character in wrestling and see how that goes. That would be a fun thing to watch, I think.
well, I'm trying to wait for WWE 2K24 to go down because right now it's $70 in the
Yeah.
Microsoft store, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to spend $70 right now for that. I want to kind of wait till it goes down
You should do
and
like a
see.
donation thing on your podcast so people could donate to help you pay for it. That would be a good dono bar.
I have six people that watch and only two people that chat. I doubt I'll get enough donations
Well,
to buy
well,
that
see,
game.
you never know. Some people really like customizable character storyline driven content, so you never know. So,
Well, that's one of the reasons why I would stream PGA and I would most likely stream MLB because those are custom made characters.
yeah, I like
Custom
that. I
made
like
go
that
from
too.
custom made pitcher, you know.
For sure. Let me go into the Baltimore Orioles for 1 second. We already talked about they lost the first one and then they won the second one. But they then they went to sorry, Arizona came to town. They were able to win the first one 4-2, second one 5-4, and they lost the last game, so they didn't get the sweep 9-2. And then today they lost to Toronto, and that game was this series was also in Baltimore. They lost that one 3-2, which is surprising because Toronto has had a rough season so far. They have two more games Tuesday at 6:35 and on Wednesday at 12:35 against Toronto. And then the homestand continues against Seattle on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. On Friday, it's 7:05. Saturday, it's 4:05. And then Sunday, it's 1:35. And then on Monday, they play at St. Louis at 7:45. And so that game might still be going on or might be over, but we'll be talking about that next week as well. Any other thoughts about baseball before we switch gears?
I mean, Nationals seem to still be in this rebuild mode, and it's like, how long has it been that they've been in this rebuild mode? It needs to be a time where they need to start going from being in a rebuild mode to, hey, we're in a division that's extremely tough in the NL East, dealing with the Phillies and the Braves. Like, they need to step it up. They need to step it up big time. Otherwise, they're going to continue to be lacking behind.
Yeah, I mean a little bit, but I mean they're only 19 and 20. They're some people thought there was going to be a couple of years before they're even decent again. So I'm starting to see some progress. You know, they seem to be able to compete. I'm actually impressed with the Orioles able to be keeping up with the Yankees on their side of the thing. You know, and the Orioles are at 26 and 14, I think. So, yeah, they're doing. pretty well in their on their side of it. The East, they're leading the East right now just by percentage points. They have 26 wins and 14 losses. They've played two less games basically than the Yankees. They have one less
It's
win,
crazy
one.
to it's crazy to me to think that the Orioles used to be a really good team in the mid 90s. Then they had that like 10 to 15 year lull of just mediocrity, and then all of a sudden they came out of nowhere and started becoming like a powerhouse in the AL. It's like crazy how that happens.
Yeah, for sure. And Washington finds themselves in the middle of theirs, but only 8.5 games back of Philadelphia. But you're right, Philadelphia and Atlanta. Philadelphia is 8-2 in their last 10. Atlanta's 6-4, and Washington is right there at 5-5. So I'm interested to see how they do going forward. Um, and Adrian is in chat, and so welcome on in, Adrian. You should go give him a follow. He's does Fortnite and Battlefield and other things, and he's been on this show in the past as well. And big time hockey fan and sports fan, and he's gone to baseball games as well. So welcome on in, Adrian. Happy to have you here.
I will say to Adrian, I tried to play Fortnite one time and realized that at 41 years of age, I cannot play first person shooter games on new gen consoles because of the fact of the whole two stick movement and shooting aspect. My brain just can't
I think,
process that whole thing. I just can't do it. I'm used to playing like N64 or GameCube where I can use the control the D-pad to move around or the control stick to move around and a button to shoot. I didn't
yeah.
have to
Oh,
use
I love the old. It's funny that you say that because we just one of our mutual friends just brought over an N64 to give to Zach because ours broke right as I was showing him about it, and so it was very depressing. And so he got one on a deal because he actually works for a cartridge game, store, and it's great. We've been playing all the old N64 games together. I still have all my games, and I just didn't have a working system, but I still have all the controllers and everything you need. So it's been great teaching him about the old consoles and stuff like that. But I don't know. Adrian can let us know if I don't know if he does it on his computer, mouse, for the point and shoot games, or if he's doing it on like an Xbox or a PlayStation. So Adrian, feel free to let us know in chat how you game. But I know that it is easier for a lot of people to use like the mouse and the pointers and the PC gaming side of it. So let's
It's
switch
funny you mentioned
gears.
that because my son plays Roblox on computer and he can play mouse and keyboard, and I'm like, I can barely even figure out doing first person shooters doing two sticks, and my son at 10 years old can do mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, I mean that's how I used to game a long time ago was with mouse and keyboard, but it's been almost 20 years since I've done that. I mostly only play Nintendo systems now because I'm playing mostly with Zach. But I was never very good at first person shooters. But it'd be funny to show him like GoldenEye, with the old stick and stuff like that. I have that. So that would be fun for sure. Let's talk.
GoldenEye was my game. GoldenEye was my favorite game. One of my favorite
Yeah, that
games.
that game is awesome. Sometime we should have you come over and we could all play on the old school N64. I haven't played in years, so it'd be fun to just
If y'all play me in GoldenEye, I wipe y'all.
All right. Well, I'll bring Benson over. We'll bring in some big rig people. Well, I will lose quickly, but it'd be fun to see you guys go at it.
Word.
But so yeah, let's talk XFL. I know I don't really want to talk about it, but or UFL. I keep on calling it XFL, but they're in the XFL division, and my graphic still says XFL. But it's okay. The Defenders. They're not the same team that they were a year ago for sure, and
Uh-uh.
especially on the defensive side, but also on the offensive side. I thought we had a two quarterback system that worked really well last year. We've gone away from that, and the running game isn't quite there in the same way that it was a year ago. And we're just not able to stop teams in situations where they're just kind of running through us. And it was a tough game to watch at times yesterday. But Champ, what are some of your thoughts?
I told you this in our group chat after you kind of spoiled it for me, and I was like, well, they probably lost by close margin. That's probably why he's bummed. But then when I watched the game and realized we only scored 9 points, I was like, oh, this is dreadful. Oh man, Sunday's performance was one of the most dreadful performances I've seen from this Defenders team. in their history. Only 235 total yards to 332 for the Panthers from Michigan. And again, they were at home, were the defenders, and they absolutely just got wrecked by this team. They didn't. Panthers didn't have to do a lot of passing. They only had 145 passing yards. Their most of their offense and most of their total yards came on the ground. 187 total rushing yards. Um, Matthew Kilburn the second was their leading rusher, 16 rushes for 137 yards, including a 53 yarder, which was his longest. You also had Wes Hills, who scored their one of two rushing touchdowns for them. Brian Lurkery scored the other rushing touchdown. So it was just all around great performance from Michigan and a poor performance from DC. Even if they were to somehow, some way make the playoffs, I don't think they would last very long in there. But I think they might be. I don't even think they're going to make the playoffs at this point, at this juncture. And even if they did, I just don't think they would be a viable candidate to even sniff the championship like they did last year. This is, as you just said, and I said it earlier to you, this is nowhere near the same team that had such a magical run where they didn't lose at home and they rarely lost on the road on their way to going to the XFL championship. They're going to really have to, and it's easy to sit here and say, well, they can have to do X, Y, and Z, but right, this league is not really a league for longevity. If you show up and show out in this league, you could end up on an NFL roster later this season and end up not being back in the XFL next season. So that's why it's kind of hard to really pinpoint and really lock down camaraderie and familiarity with each other, because there's no telling if you're going if that player or those players are going to be back next year, because of the fact that they could end up on an NFL roster somewhere and end up not coming back to the XFL. So yeah, this was a very dreadful game. This was a very regrettable game. I watched it and was just sitting back and just couldn't believe what I was watching. I'm like, this is not the team that I expected them to be this season, and it's very, very disappointing.
Fusion A just came in a chat. Welcome on in.
DJ,
Not Playing 21. Definitely check out his show and all the links for that as well. Often in our show notes, but also on our podcast partners button as well. But
hey
uh,
Robbie, you want to know something funny? I actually got DJ into getting EA Sports PGA Tour. Now he's grinding out career mode to try to get
so
his golf
if you
to
guys
my
play
level.
career mode separately, is there any way that you could still like play a match against each other? Or is that,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, we're friends on Xbox, and so if any time that he's ready to go one on one, we can do like an online private
That
match
would be
and stuff like
it'd be
that.
kind of fun to stream that sometime. And like I feel like well, I guess you would have to do it through like Discord or something to get you guys on just because it's kind of funny to stream you guys together playing that.
Well, Xbox has not only in system party chat, but it also has Discord as well.
Oh, nice. So that would work. And if you guys need a Discord, I could always give mine up, for you guys to do that. I just think it would be funny if once you guys get established and play enough and get ready for it. But it'd be oh, nice. He just said DJ just said he won his second match, and I'm not on a two tournament win streak. So DJ, that's awesome. And he also said earlier the defenders team is talent deficient, which I agree. It's so tough because like we were the one of the best teams last year and we had so many players move on, and so we're just a shell of the team. So like you on a year that you have the talent, you got to win it all, because like if you get to the finals and lose, you're just going to lose almost all your players, and then you got to build up from the scratch again. So it's tough. It's a tough league because like it's hard to build chemistry.
It is. It really is hard to build chemistry when it comes to the XFL, because of the fact that there is the likelihood that if someone is really, really good at that level, that they can end up on an NFL roster. Even if they don't start, they can still end up on an NFL roster, which would keep them from returning to the XFL. So, yeah, I mean,
Or
it's
people just
really hard to
retire
argue.
or just done because they don't want to do it again, or you know what I mean? Like there's just so much turnover. It's not like the NFL where you have multi-year contracts. A lot of these guys have 1 to 2 year contracts, I believe. Like I don't think that they are any of them are signed long term.
Right.
So I don't even think that the UFL has long term contracts. So
No, I don't think so either.
yeah. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. All right, I'm gonna switch it over, and we're gonna talk a little bit about. Oh, wait, I did wanted to see who their opponent was next week. Um, I forgot though. Hold on. DC Defenders schedule. Um, I just had it up just like literally 2 seconds ago, and then I clicked out of it. The DC Defenders' next game is going to be it's that rematch in St. Louis. That's gonna be a rough game. St. Louis has the best home crowd and like they have the best tickets and attendance in the league, and it's gonna be they've already beat us once, and it's kind of the do or die game. It's gonna be a noon game on ABC and ESPN, and or no, sorry, it's on ABC, and so like you
Yeah.
can watch it if you got broadcast, which is kind of cool. And but yeah, what are your thoughts? I mean, this is a do or die game. This is literally if they want a shot at these top two spots, they have to win this week.
It's definitely a must win, especially against a team who last season they owned the Battlehawks. At this season, the Battlehawks have been one of the best teams, at least in the XFL conference. So they definitely have to go into hostile territory, and they have to get this win if they want to have any shot of getting to the top two and making it to the playoffs. But as I said before, after talking about the game against Michigan, even if they made the playoffs, I just feel like this team, as they are constructed right now, I just don't think that they would make the championship. I think they would be one and done in the playoffs. I think the best thing for them would just be to do the best that they can with these last couple of games, but definitely beat the Battlehawks. Definitely beat the Battlehawks in hostile territory to really set the tone and really send a message, and then see what happens, see how where the chips fall, where they may, and things like that. But I honestly feel like if this team makes the playoffs, but you know what, I need to scratch that because everybody thought that Arlington, when they made the shouldn't have made the playoffs because of how they played last season, and they messed around and won the whole damn thing. So maybe, just maybe, even if this team is playing the way that they are, they could go on a run just like Arlington and end up winning the UFL championship. So maybe I should not say that. Maybe I shouldn't have that mentality of just cruise through the rest of the season and see what happens, because that's normally not the mentality that I have. So they need to just win, just start winning and keep winning and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, this game they play against St. Louis and San Antonio. If they're able to win both of those games as well as their other game, um, uh, oh, sorry, they play St. Louis and they play the Renegades. They already played and beat the Brahmas. So if they can somehow get them tied, where the Brahmas would have to play against the Renegades, the Stallions, and the Battlehawks as their last three. But if they lose all three and we win all three, we would have the tie. We'd be able to win it out over them. So, and I think. Yeah, so I think that's an easier path than trying to take on St. Louis, but you still got to beat St. Louis next week regardless. So,
We do have to keep an eye out on the injury report for Jordan Talmo. He did leave the game against Michigan with an injury to his leg. He was replaced in the game and never came back. So we definitely got to keep an eye on that situation to see what his availability is going to be for next week against St. Louis.
yeah, I just don't. It's going to be rough because I feel like San Antonio is just going to beat up on the Renegades, and if they do, then they all they have is the Stallions and the Battlehawks left, and that puts it a really tough position because then we would be tied. I wonder if the tiebreaker would go to us because we beat them head to head. So, and I think that's the only time we play them, right? It was just that one game. So, oh no, we lost. So it's 1-1. So I wonder what the tiebreaker would be in that scenario. So I'm not quite sure. I forget what the tiebreaker is in the UFL. But anyway, we'll monitor it. So next week we've got a show. We're taking the week off from Memorial Day, and then we're coming back and we'll do a UFL recap, season recap probably, or playoff preview if they sneak in. I was considering going to the game on the second. Tickets are super dirt cheap right now. So, champ, maybe you and I will talk about it, but because I heard it's $2 metros and $10 tickets. So, it's at least reasonable, so it's not too bad. I wouldn't mind catching the game to see what it's like.
Right,
So we'll monitor how they do over the next 2 weeks and see how the weather is and maybe make a game time decision. Because I feel like if that's the price now, if they lose a bunch, maybe they even plummet more. Maybe they're like $5 tickets. So,
right.
uh, but we stay tuned. I may attempt to try to go to a game or not. We'll see how I feel. But
I overheard you telling, I think it was Gil and C4 about bringing me along, and I'm like, hey, look, I'll go. I ain't got shit else to do.
yeah, I'm
No,
down to go with you. We haven't gone to a sporting event together, so I'll see if Liz is willing to watch the kids. So if it's $10 tickets, I feel like it's kind of worth it. It's a fun experience. We could take video and put it on your TikTok and on the show page and stuff, and have a fun collab. So we'll see how it is. I want to wait, and I would probably be a week of decision just because of weather and other things, but it's a possibility. I'm throwing it out there. So.
right.
Um, and who knows? Maybe they'll win the next two, and that game will matter. So then it'll be even more exciting. So, but yeah, champ, I want you to quickly do a wrestling recap, and then we're gonna get out of here.
All right. Well, right now, with wrestling, Backlash already happened, and Backlash was an amazing, amazing show. Um, we were supposed to recap it this week, but I was having some tech issues and some other issues, and so we didn't do a podcast this week. But Backlash was absolutely amazing. The crowd in France was absolutely on fire from beginning to end. As a matter of fact, uh, that Friday night for SmackDown, it was so loud that the French government issued a noise ordinance warning because of how loud it was in the arena. That's how loud they were, and it was even more loud for the pay per view itself. TNA did their Under Siege pay per view as well this that same weekend, and New Japan had Resurgence this past Saturday, which saw a new strong open weight champion crown, new strong tag team champions crown, and saw John Moxley retain the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship against his protege Shota Umino. But then afterwards, Evil decided to attack and announce himself as the next challenger for the IWGP World Championship. And so it's looking like Evil versus John Moxley at Dominion coming up in June. And also, New Japan is in the midst of its Best of the Super Juniors 31 tournament. They've already completed 2 nights of action, with both blocks already having 2 matches in. Coming up in a day or so, they're gonna the A block will have matches just themselves. They'll have five matches, and then the next night it'll be B block itself, and then I think it goes back to all blocks and things like that. But it's a really interesting tournament so far. Some very interesting results. Hiromu Takahashi, who is a four-time winner of this tournament, has already lost his first 2 matches and has 0 points on the board so far. So he's got a long way to go if he's going to try to become a 5-time winner of this tournament, and things like that. Kosei Fujita, who's in his first Best of the Super Juniors, while he's currently on his learning excursion, he's currently 1-1 with 2 points. And so it's a really interesting race. One half of the junior tag team champions, Clark Connors, is 0-2, while his partner, Drillum. Well, no, Clark Connors is 1-1. He's one half of the junior heavyweight tag team champions, while his tag team partner and fellow champion Drilla Maloney is 0-2. And so again, it's very, very interesting very interesting so early on, but it's still a lot to go in this tournament, but a lot to talk about. If you want to hear more about it, we will be doing our Best of the Super Juniors Rewind podcast this coming Thursday, tentatively, streaming on twitch.tv/ True No Spots Pod, with the audio going up on Spotify and Amazon Music. The very next day, you can check out the podcast partners button on sportsothp.com for that episode and past episodes as well.
Yeah, I want to give one final shout out to somebody, a special a VIP in this channel before we end our feed. I got my very first package. I've never gotten stuff in the mail from any of the fans before, so shout out to her for being the first, and it was a really cool thing. So Tina French as a VIP on this channel, and she's been such a big supporter of the show. Somebody I want to go catch either a sporting event or something with. She's from the DMV. Her sister is a big time streamer. I'm going to give her a shout out, even though she's not a streamer herself. But she's just such a big, she's a moderator in a ton of different chats. And yeah, Andrea Cannon Guitar is her sister. She mods over there as well. But yeah, so she got me this. Her husband went to one of the games, and I collect these from all the playoffs the Caps have been in. And so she unfortunately lost the series, but her husband went to one of the games and got this. I got an extra one and sent it to me. So shout out to them for helping me with my collection of playoff rally towels. I think this is a really cool one. So yeah, it's shout out to her, and I want to also thank her. She resubbed earlier tonight as well for 20 months. So shout out to her. I didn't catch that live, but I appreciate the resub. And so yeah, so I just want to give Tina her flowers and thank her for all the support that she's done for this show over the last 20 months or so. So a big time supporter of the channel and another person I want to catch a live game with for sure. I'm hoping to also have a concert here, maybe an Emily Henry concert here this summer, inviting a lot of Twitch friends, including you and others, to a concert here in our backyard. So once we get that date narrowed down, we'll let people know, to come and she's an awesome musician. She's starred in our Night Dive video of last year. But I've seen her live or I've seen her live last year, and she's just incredible. And
I'm
so
waiting
she's,
for the Caps invite for next season. That's all I'm waiting for.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, you're always welcome to come catch a Caps game here, but or even at the stadium. We got to do a one live for sure. We're gonna do another one of those next season. We had fun um, doing a couple of live games this year that I got to meet some people at, but I want to do more of that for sure next year as well. And I'm always down to catch any sporting event with you, champ. So we'll definitely work it out and find. A way to catch some sort of game this summer, or if not in the fall for sure. But I want to thank everyone for tuning in. We got one last Pokemon chat. I'm gonna let people catch that if they want to. But with that, I'm gonna end our Facebook Live feed. I really appreciate everyone for tuning in and being a part of the conversation over there. Again, we'll have one more show next week, and then we'll take the week off for Memorial Day, and then we'll do our last show of the spring season. I can't believe it's already coming to a close on June 3rd, where we'll recap the UFL, how things are doing in soccer and basketball, but also preview the Stanley Cup final as well as the NBA final in that one. So that'll be an exciting one on June 3rd. But we'll be back next week to talk about the different conference championships. So definitely stay tuned for that. We're hoping to have Davey back, maybe Tim back as well. Champ will be here. C4 might be back. We got Gil and possibly Arun as well. So it should be a big fun show next week. I'm gonna end it here. I did catch that Morpeko, which is awesome. I got over 1,000 Pokemon now catched on the Pokemon community game live. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you're listening to the audio podcast or on Facebook, you can always join us on Twitch. We got lots of fun people. We got live scoring updates, bots. We can also catch Pokemon every 15 minutes and other hidden chat games. And you can make things pop up and appear live on stream as well. So I always encourage that's the super interactive one. Well, you can also catch the VODs that I clip up into highlights on the Twitch channel, but also on the YouTube channel. And you can catch this whole video on Facebook. And then 1 week later, I posted the audio to the audio podcast platforms as sort of an archive for it. But I give a little bit of a head start to people who want to check us out on some of the other platforms as well. So thank you everyone for tuning in on all the different platforms or whatever you're listening to us on. I really appreciate the support as always. We'll be back next week and we'll go DC and hopefully we'll get big wins for DC United and the Defenders this week. And also the beginning of the Mystics season and the Nats and the Orioles as well. So lots of stuff to talk about next week. Champ, any final things before we sign off?
No, just go Defenders. Let's get it. Let's go Mystics. Let's go Nats. And let's go United. That's all I got to say. Go Kigenyo. Sayonara.
Thank you so much. We'll be back next week for episode 342. Stay tuned for more. Have a good one. All right, so stop it there.
Recording stopped.
Recording is stopped. I figured out my raid target. We're gonna do this really fast because I'm trying to keep this to a shorter show a little bit tonight. Adrian was visiting us earlier, and I know that he doesn't have a ton of people in his chat right now, and he doesn't have a lot of followers, and we're trying to get him there to affiliate. So we're gonna raid him because he's actually streaming playing games right now. So I'm gonna start that raid over to Ace Caltor. Oops. It'd be good if I spelled it right. And got a raid call, a sub raid call right there. I appreciate everyone for being a part of this here on Twitch. And yeah, we'll be back next week. And thanks again, Champ. And yeah, anyone who doesn't already have Adrian, give him a follow. I really appreciate that. And yeah, I'm not sure he's ever had a raid before. We'll see. This might be his first. So we'll talk to you guys next week.
Yeah.